Can you all hear me well? Okay. Now in the next few days, some of you will stop attending these classes, and that's bound to happen. But all I know is that those who stick around until the last day, they will be the ones seeing their name in the list. And as and when you stop attending classes, do not write emails to us that can you attend it again next year? That's not going to happen. That's the definition of an idiot. You don't make mistakes once. You make mistakes twice, thrice. You keep repeating those mistakes and don't learn from those mistakes. So please be regular with these classes. And the way we will cover environment, science, and tech, I can assure you that no one will teach you better than what we will study. We'll connect innumerable dots. And by the end of the module, you will yourself be astounded how you can solve so many questions so easily across prelims, across mains, across interview, the way you see the news, the way you see the world. All of that will change. But you need to have patience. So yesterday we had a very fascinating episode and we discussed quite a lot in just 60 minutes. And my goal is to ensure that we do not spend like 3 hours. You need to do your own studies, and also we ensure that we are meeting on daily basis almost. So short sessions are perfectly all right. So what did we learn yesterday? We began with food chain. We then learned why I should be grateful to Modi ji. I just get taxed around 60%, give or take. But nature, look at that. How much it taxes you? Around 90%. So we learned about the 10% law by whom? Raymond Lindman. We realized why producers are valuable. These producers are valuable not just in nature, but also in countries. They are the foundations. If the producers collapse, the whole chain will collapse. We did not just end there. We then analyzed 3 kinds of pyramids. What else? Which of the 3 pyramids could be inverted and upright, and why? Yes, Anjali?
Good afternoon, sir. So we learned about the 3 ecological pyramids. The first one was the pyramid of numbers. The other one was pyramid of biomass, and the third one was pyramid of
Energy. So which of the 2 could be both upright and inverted?
So the pyramid of numbers and the pyramid of biomass is upright as well as inverted, wherein you give the example for the marine life as well as the banyan tree which was given. And for the energy, the pyramid of energy, that is not inverted, it's only upright because it follows the 10% rule.
And in the end, we also learned everything we could learn about carbon in context to especially phytoplanktons. We learned about greenhouse effect and why it is not always bad. We learned about the short wave, long wave radiations. How do we get heated? Sun is so far away from us. There is no physical contact. If you look at the distance, it's so far, it's in this vacuum. Then how can it heat the surface of the earth? We learned all that. We also learned what is the major reason for warmness on earth. What kind of waves play a critical role there? Short wave or long wave? We solved quite a few UPSC questions also. We also have a special guest. Let's welcome our beloved Daisy. And a huge round of applause, by the way, for Daisy. Last year, she became the youngest civil servant of India. Daisy got a remarkable rank this year. And congratulations to you, Daisy.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm really good. I'm very glad to be back here with my fellow MisFits. I appeared for UPSC twice in 2024 and 2025. I secured AIR 422 last year and 183 this year. So I joined MisFits way back in the first batch in 2023 and 2024. And I used to use YouTube as a medium to add on to my preparation. And that's when I came across the MisFits. It seems to be quite manageable and a very new technique. So I joined with the idea of, okay, I'll attend classes for 1 month. If I feel it's good and productive, I'll continue that.
So it was a very long drawn journey, to be honest, for doing the college syllabus, completing all the exams, along with preparing for UPSC. But I think it was honestly worth it.
I think that was the best decision ever, to be honest. And I continued till the very end of the module.
And the way sir used to teach just made it more easy, way more easier as compared to reading the text and just cramming the facts.
We were doing ancient history at that time.
And that gave me a very broad idea of what India actually stands for, what has been the journey of India from the ancient time to the independence and to the modern India we have today.
One memorable moment for me was that the Buddhism chapter. Because I'd already read that once before, but I couldn't really recall or remember anything. But after attending your class, everything was quite on tips, and I could really see the difference in my understanding. So for economics, the examples part, I definitely loved it. So for all the concepts, inflation, J-curve, GDP, I had already studied that in my graduation. We basically followed the syllabus, and it was very mathematical and thorough. When it comes to UPSC, we do require some interlinking with other subjects as well. We cannot just study economics as a separate core facts or information. And I think that is what MisFits helped me with, interlinking eco with all other GS subjects.
And towards the end, we completed with quality.
When we started fundamental rights, I was thinking, okay, this is a one-day job. Lakshmi Kanme, there are 10 pages. We'll complete this in 10 days. But I was really surprised when you each and every article and you explained us so thoroughly. At that time, my purpose was ki, this is the article, this is the topic, and this comes within it. That is it, the prelims perspective. But when I reached the main stage is when I actually realized the importance of it.
It's made me understand the fundamental duties we as a citizen hold and what are our fundamental rights. How can we even stand for ourselves when we face any crisis in our life?
Without even thinking much, I realized I was quoting articles in bracket everywhere. So I think that actually made it easier for later.
Everything in the whole journey made me a very holistic human being, and it really helped me to understand the world around me, not just in the textbook, but also experiencing everything in real life.
For example, when we studied geography, I realized the monsoon forecast is not just a fact or information to be put in answer. It is something that is affecting the lives of countless farmers on the ground. And I think realizing that is important and actually improves our personality beyond all the books information that we already have. I can observe that when we read the newspapers, earlier I would, see the information and consider it as a fact. But after the whole journey, I have realized that I can actually see the impact of those things in real life. Your method was quite unique. I saw that you were suggesting some movies as well as a medium of learning, and I was really surprised to know that.
Daisy, how did you become such a remarkable orator? Transformation has been incredible in past 1 year.
It was probably the first time interacting with so many people.
I myself can't believe this actually.
I've always been an introvert all my life.
If 2 years back someone had given me an opportunity to speak here, I would have been so anxious and I would just switch off my camera on.
But I saw a very gradual and slow improvement in my journey.
In the beginning, I couldn't even speak in the classes. I tried to raise my hands 2-3 times. I would sometimes give a one-line answer, and then I would regret the whole day jab bhi galat answer deti thi. I
was really scared at that time whenever you used to cold call, but I do miss that up.
Dhire I took up the courage to speak and eventually
So I would just like to say that all of you are under the right mentorship. You have all the resources. It might feel like it is very intimidating and the competition is very intense, but I think convert that anxiety into motivation. Just work a little harder every day to reduce that anxiety. and every one of you is very capable to clear this exam.
So huge round of applause for Daisy. And I owe Daisy multiple treats as and when we meet. And I wish you all the very best, Daisy. It's going to be a remarkable life going forward. You will meet wonderful people. You will learn so many skill sets. You will grow each day, and in that journey, you will also contribute to the welfare of our country. So all the very best. It was a pleasure and delight to have you in our community, Daisy.
Thank you, sir.
And I really want to thank everyone here for the wishes. The community of MisFits has been really amazing. Even my LinkedIn is like flooded with comments, and I would really try to answer everyone. But for the time being, a big thank you. I'm really overwhelmed by all the love, support, and wishes I'm getting.
Yes, Sanskriti?
So long-lived traditions are the celestial traditions help heat the earth.
Okay, good. And we solved many questions, and almost all of you were able to solve those questions. One thing about environment and science and tech, one mistake that many instructors make is that they go in sequence. And when you go in sequence, it gets very boring. In my classes, you will not see that sequence. You will see interconnectedness across environment and across science and technology. So you cannot guess what we will talk today. You won't be able to guess what we'll talk tomorrow because we will not follow that standard book approach. So, but let's start today's class by wrapping up the video we could not completely watch yesterday because it beautifully summarizes what we learned in the last 15 minutes of the class. And as then when you watch through this video, you will also realize why these foundational classes, why do they matter? Because it makes learning more meaningful. It makes reading more interesting. And you will start observing this, especially from today onwards, as we proceed with this beautiful journey. Okay. Anything interesting? Many of you would have wrapped up your environment in some other way, but we fail to realize how valuable planktons are. There's one more very interesting thing. Many a times, I think in your UPSC interviews or in your UPSC mains, there could be questions around. But before I talk about that, any thoughts, any guesses on what are we going to discuss today? Whatever we may discuss, you may see direct questions in your prelims this year. Two guesses, anyone? Yes, Ankit?
Are we gonna talk about petroleum and oil?
No, we won't talk about Hardeep Singh Puri in his Epstein files. Ankush?
So are we going to emphasize on oxygen and the atmosphere?
Okay. So one thing that we need to also talk about is something called as plastic. Humans are exceptional at creating disasters. But nature has a way to solve it. Do you think planktons eat plastics? Do you think that could happen? It's marvelous, even for plastics, I'm referring to planktons. Richard, what do you think?
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I think microplastics can be consumed by them.
Okay. And by the way, to all those who are part of Bose Fellowship, we will be starting a startup month in time to come. And please use these classes also as a way to think of your projects. And many of you will go on to present your ideas in front of the jury in the startup month, and you will be provided some seed money if you win the if you get some ranks in those competitions. Let's watch a very interesting video. Looks like planktons, they eat plastic also. And still we knew nothing about them until yesterday.
These are plankton, and those bright green specks inside their bodies are showing us what they're eating. It's not food. Those are tiny pieces of plastic. We hear a lot about pollution from single.
Up until now, any thoughts on this? And I keep on repeating, please attend these classes until the last day. Every minute of these classes is extremely important. You can't miss. Environment, science and tech, it's such a subject that people find very boring. I will ensure that by the time you're done with this discipline, it becomes one of your favorite subjects in the entire UPSC module. Pitan, what do you think?
Yes, sir. Plastics are, I think, a very recent phenomena developed by humans. So, planktons may not have that ability from very long time, but they have adapted to situations.
Okay, and are you happy about this or sad about this?
Well, we are creating, someone is consuming. So, I don't know. Maybe they are trying to keep a balance.
Okay. Let's come back to the video again and let's watch it, but for a few more minutes.
These are plankton. Plastic. We hear a lot about pollution from single-use plastic items, like plastic straws and shopping bags, that are clogging marine habitats. Although these large pieces of plastic contribute the most to the overall mass of plastic polluting oceans, they count for a small share of the total number of plastic particles. That's because most of the plastic pieces in the oceans don't look like this. They're tiny particles that look like this, and where they're coming from might surprise you.
Modern fibers, alone or in blends with natural fibers, brought new innovations in cool, crisp, comfortable clothes.
Back in the 1940s, fabrics like nylon, acrylic, and rayon, all made from plastic, became really popular. These synthetic clothes were cheap.
Welcome to that video. Thoughts up until now? Rohit?
What I can observe is entering of plastic in our food chain.
So we should be sad about this. But let's come back to the word that Ruchir used. He didn't use the word plastic, he used a word called microplastic. Why do we call them micro? Yes, Shitach?
Because it is difficult to observe them with naked eyes.
Any size that they have?
In microns.
5 mm, I think, lesser than 5 mm. But okay, let me show you a very interesting Business Today article. Just tell me your thoughts when you read this article. Can you see this? How do you feel? All the poor folks. Thoughts? Anyone? Yes, Rahul?
Human beings and their need to portray themselves as larger than life. They can never be, but still they try to.
Is that about that? Ananya?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon,
We
everyone.
poor people cannot understand the game that rich are playing. But okay.
So, I don't know what exactly the article was meant to convey, but as soon as I saw the image of that water bottle, I mean, two very contrasting images came to my mind. One was that water bottle, and one was the mud pot that we use as a glass sometimes in our houses, and the clay pots that we use to drink.
What's the reason why Neeta Ambani's water bottle is made of gold? On the other hand, our kids are tiny babies. They are drinking milk off a plastic bottle. Is gold bottle all about status? Because there is a hidden biological cost to cheap plastic bottles. When we heat plastic bottles, even to sterilize it for a baby, when that plastic bottle sits in a hot car, it undergoes a process. It's called as leaching. A plastic bottle may look solid to your eyes. It may look very stable, harmless, convenient, but it is cheap. Cheap people, they pay twice in life. Old Japanese proverb. We need to learn how to spend also on things that are valuable. What is leaching? Leaching is that when chemicals from the plastic, they do not just obediently stay inside the plastic. Under certain conditions such as heat, sunlight, scratches, repeated use, they begin to escape. They begin to migrate. And they begin to mix with whatever is inside the bottle. So when you heat milk in a plastic feeding bottle, what is being heated? It's not just milk. Along with the milk, you are also activating chemistry. When a plastic bottle sits in a hot car in Indian summer, what is happening? Indian parents are so gullible. We watch a movie called Koi Mil Gaya, and then, Bonvita becomes a hit. We're feeding sugar to our babies. Bonvita is sugar. It's not good for your health. It will not make you taller. Entire generation of Indians lived with Bonvita and Horlicks. We sterilize the baby bottle with love, with care, protection. What's the irony? To protect the child from the germs, are we exposing child to something else? Are we also exposing our babies to microplastics? Anjali?
Yes, sir, certainly we are. In one way or the other, we are exposing them to microplastics. The first and the foremost thing is a bottle, sir. We definitely do have a replacement. We can use steel bottles, but eventually when it comes to the cap, it is silicon. Eventually it comes to the to any I myself couldn't find even a single bottle in the market which is completely steel or completely out of plastic. So that's the irony, and that's the fact of the day, that is what sells, and that is what is in the market.
Okay. And Tabish, if you're sleepy, please leave the room. There's no need to attend the class. Okay. If you think about it, that baby is in a developing stage. Body is under construction, brain is developing. Immune system is learning. Hormones are calibrating. Gut is maturing. Organs are delicate. Would Ambani's, would Mark Zuckerberg's, Bezos, would they also feed the babies like that? These particles can irritate the gut, disturb the stomach. Intestinal linings could be disturbed. They can interfere with microbiome. What is microbiome? Hmm? What is microbiome? Robinson?
The microbiome means the gut bacteria.
I have a hunch Ambani's use different internet also. They will not use the net we are using. Different bandwidth. You are not audible, by the way, Robinson. Microbiomes, it is this invisible universe of good bacteria inside our gut. They regulate inflammation. So when a baby drinks from heated plastic bottle, it is not just milk entering the body, it's also chemistry. And that's very tragic. Parents are not careless. They love us. Because of that love, they sterilize the bottle out of care. And yet, in trying to protect the child from germs, we might unknowingly expose our child to something else. So what's the solution? Live intelligently. We know now, we're realizing plastics becomes more dangerous when it meets the heat. First and foremost, ensure that reduce the contact between hot food and plastic. Have this rule in life. Because heat will accelerate leaching. Do not pour boiling liquid directly into plastic. Do not repeatedly heat milk in plastic containers. Do not leave plastic bottles sitting inside hot car. You cannot expose plastic bottles to direct sunlight for long periods. Think of the alternatives. Could be glass, could be steel. Has anyone bought Coca-Cola in a plastic bottle? You've not? Yeah. Once you are done drinking Coca-Cola, Suryansh, what do you do with it?
I mean, I'm little environmentally conscious, so I tried to use it like as a drinking water, like drinking bottle or something, then throw it.
Cheap people. I'm kidding, Suryansh. I'm kidding, okay? Don't take it personally. It's a joke. You use it for water, you use it for lassi, you keep it in your fridge, and then throw it away after extracting and leaching everything out of that plastic bottle. Damage changes the behavior of plastic. Your soft drink bottle was not designed for lifelong reuse. What is plastic? Really, it's a polymer, strong, durable, and virtually immortal. The last word is very critical. Virtually immortal. It does not die, and that's the tragedy. It just keeps on breaking into smaller and smaller pieces. You should not reuse that plastic bottle. Throw it away. Use glass bottles if needed. Anywhere who smokes? You smoke? Anyone? Marijuana, cigarette, charas, ganja, nothing? Suryansh, you were raising your hand. You smoke also?
I mean, yeah, I have been.
All the bad habits you have.
Much more.
The filter that you have, it's not cotton, it's a cellulose acetate. It's plastic. Chewing gum. That is petroleum-derived plastic base. Have you used chewing gum? Suryansh would use it, no? After cigarette, he would want to have chewing gum.
I mean, not after cigarette, but yeah, sometimes for, I do after
Before
other
you meet
things.
your girlfriend, you would want to use it. Plastic. Chewing gum is also plastic. Your eyeglass, your car tires, every time a tire rubs against the road, it sheds thousands of microplastic particles into air and water. But now the question is, where does it all go? It's a travesty that today we worship Modi ji. If we were to worship anyone, we should worship planktons. Yesterday, we saw how phytoplanktons, how they play such a crucial role in carbon cycle. We understood how they are the lungs of the oceans. Now, the very interesting thing now is that these planktons, they're now eating our plastic also. Some of you were very happy that they're eating plastics. We're generating plastic, at least they're eating plastic. Someone is taking care of it. But that is also concerning. Why? Why is that? Let me cold call someone. Fardeen, tell me.
Yes, there is a concept of biomagnification. So it gets, for example, when phytoplanktons are eaten by small fishes and small fishes are in turn eaten by bigger fishes. So it's get transferred to the food chain and in turn indirectly affects us.
See, and many people confuse biomagnification with bioaccumulation and many other bioremediation and so on and so forth. But after today's class, there will be no such confusion. When these tiny zooplanktons, when they mistake microplastic for food, they may feel full for some time. They may stop eating real nutrients. Now let's come back to the 10% law that we studied. The 10% law gets corrupted. Now instead of 10% energy moving up, we now have biomagnification of toxins moving up. Biomagnification, what an interesting word. Biomagnification, what does it mean? If a tiny zooplankton eats the piece of plastic, what happens to the fish that eats the zooplankton? What happens to the human who eats the fish? This concept of biomagnification, it's not just important for exams. It's extremely, extremely important for your health also. We studied the 10% law. What do you think would be the evil twin of 10% law? Evil twin of 10% law. How would it look like? Do you understand what is an evil twin? Who is the evil twin of Modi ji? Okay, we'll come back to this question. The original one. Okay, Nisha.
I think, sir, Dr. S.J. Shankar and Phytoplankton.
No, they're not that evil.
Okay.
But the question is different. Come back to the original question, not the Modi ji's question. Evil twin of 10% law. What would that be? Ruchir?
Sir, at one hand we have 10% energy, then on the other hand we have the drastic impacts of that 10% energy, which basically means that if microplastics get, I'm guessing it by the way, if they get to the higher level of trophic levels, then maybe they can damage the systems of the organisms, probably causing cancer and whatnot.
Yes, the evil twin would be something called as biomagnification. In fact, it would exactly look like biomagnification. Before we understand biomagnification, let's understand what is accumulation. Because magnification cannot happen until and unless there is accumulation. So why did we decide to give up on sugar? No one becomes diabetic with just 1 spoon of sugar, by the way. People become diabetic because of daily patterns. That's why I consistently keep on harping about patterns in life. Why you should be attending these classes until the last day of your prelims. Because that's when I will see most of your names in the list. I want to read your emails, your messages. People become diabetic because of daily patterns. What are those daily patterns? We don't even recognize and realize. You start your day with tea and sugar. If that is not enough, you also dip glucose biscuit into it. Unknowingly, thinking that it's very healthy. If that is not enough, you start that with tea, with sugar and biscuit, and then you also have what? Poha. That's how you start your mornings. How can we compete with the children and kids of Bezos? That's cheapness, no? There's the reason why poha is so cheap. Glucose biscuits are so cheap. Maggi is so cheap. And cheap people they pay twice. The first they go to physics wala, attend classes there. After paying to physics wala, they go to an academy and then they come here in MisFits. Your every meal is with Coca-Cola, and then you end your day with desserts. One day's intake is not harmless. Is harmless. One day intake is harmless. But over time, the body starts carrying the burden. That's how reality works. That's accumulation, bioaccumulation. Why? Because the damage is not coming from one dramatic moment. It comes from small repeated exposures. Bioaccumulation means gradual buildup of harmful substances inside a single organism over time. But you notice the word single organism over time. Gradual buildup inside one organism over time, because what enters the body is more than what the body can remove. That is bioaccumulation. Our forefathers used to do a lot of physical work. Calorie intake for them could be justified. But we do not work and live our lives like our forefathers. If one fish is living in polluted water and every day it takes in little mercury, little pesticides, little microplastic, and these substances keep staying inside its body, its tissues, over months, over years, then one fish, it becomes a storage center of toxins. That is bioaccumulation. One organism, one lifetime, one growing burden. One thing you need to understand about bioaccumulation is that right now, bioaccumulation has not yet moved in the food chain. I'm just talking about one organism. This is a very important critical distinction, because if UPSC were to ask you a question, this is how they confuse you. If one fish is swimming in polluted water for 5 years, every day a little toxin enters its body. And that toxin keeps getting stored in its tissues. What is that? Is it bioaccumulation or biomagnification, and why? Shikhar?
Sir, it's bioaccumulation because the toxins have accumulated and it has not yet been transferred to the higher trophic level. If it gets transferred to the higher trophic level, it will be biomagnification.
Okay, good. It's clear, right? This is an important distinction because many people confuse this. For bioaccumulation, you do not need the whole food chain. You only need one organism, harmful substance, and a lot of time. But when does it become biomagnification? Biomagnification begins when the story leaves the individual body and enters the food chain. Now, the toxin is no longer just sitting inside one organism. It is traveling upwards. Just imagine, okay, just imagine. This is not reality, but it's imagined. Modi ji blames Nehru ji every day. The day he wakes up, Nehru, because of Nehru, I cannot eat this. Because of Nehru, no sugar in my tea. People say he has something called as Nehru phobia. Everything going wrong in India, it's because of Nehru. So this is accumulating in his body on daily basis. 2014 till 2024, now it's 2026. It's accumulated, bioaccumulation. So Modi ji is one organism. Then there's Amit Shah. Amit Shah also has Nehru phobia. Then there's third organism, Cosmic Orange. Have you heard of him? Cosmic Orange? Sudhanshu Trivedi. Can you all hear me? You've not heard of Sudhanshu Trivedi? Let me show you one video of his. These days is known as Cosmic Orange. Sadly, it's in Hindi, but tells you that many toxins have bioaccumulated in their bodies. Just look at him.
iPhone 17 लॉन्च हुआ है और पहली बार उसका सबसे यूनिक कलर ऑरेंज कॉस्मिक ऑरेंज आया है। यानी दुनिया के सबसे हाईटेक कंपनी के सबसे हाईटेक प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर भी भगवा नजर आने लगा है। अगर किसी को कुछ समझ में ना रहा हो तो उसे अपनी नजर बदलने की जरूरत है। और
I'm sorry, that there are certain jokes that we cannot translate in English. Why is he speaking like this? Because in his entire life, toxins of Nehru, toxins of Godi media, toxins of hatred just kept on accumulating. It is dangerous, but still not very dangerous. It will become extremely dangerous if there is a special human who ends up eating these three people. Modi ji, Amit Shah ji, and Cosmic Orange guy. Superhuman. Becoming super bhakt. Today we have bhakts. Bhakts are not dangerous. Super bhakt could be dangerous. Because all the toxins would be taken in by super bhakt. Bioaccumulation turns into biomagnification. Very scary proposition. So biomagnification begins when the story leaves the individual body and enters the food chain. Toxins of Nehru or Mercury, it is not just sitting inside in one organism. It now starts traveling upwards. That's when things become very dangerous. A tiny zooplankton has swallowed a microplastic particle. Fine. That zooplankton now carries a small toxic burden. But then a small fish will eat that zooplankton. And that small fish will not just eat one zooplankton, it will eat millions of zooplanktons. That small fish will then be eaten by a bigger one. And eventually, in the end, a human will eat that fish. So what is happening? The toxin is moving from one trophic level to the next trophic level. Not only moving, it's becoming very concentrated. That increase in concentration of harmful substances as we move upward in the food chain, it is called as biomagnification. So what's the difference between biomagnification and bioaccumulation? Clear? Who can quickly summarize it? Tanmay?
The bioaccumulation would happen across the same trophic level, and biomagnification would happen when that when that bioaccumulated toxin is when the organism who has bioaccumulation, it gets consumed by a organism on the higher trophic.
So bioaccumulation, toxin builds up within one organism over time. Biomagnification, toxin concentration increases across trophic levels. So I live in India, and in India I live in Goa. In Goa, fish is staple food. Now, which fish should I eat? I don't understand the rationale. Why big fishes? Why are they so expensive? Should I eat shark or should I eat smaller fish? And why? If I were to eat a fish. Sneha?
Sir, it would be better to eat smaller fish because like the toxin level will be lesser. As we go into the higher trophic levels, the concentration of toxins will be more.
Shark is a top predator. Shark has spent its life eating many smaller fishes. Those smaller fishes have eaten many smaller organisms below them. By the time you reach the shark, what are you seeing? You're seeing the accumulated toxic history of the food chain. Biomagnification. The higher you go in the food chain, the greater is the possibility of toxic concentration. So the top predators often carries the highest toxic burden. Perhaps that's why cannibalism makes no sense. Humans are so toxic, mentally, physically, so many ways. A large fish has lived longer. It has acted as a biological sponge, absorbing the chemical history of the entire ocean. So if I were to eat fish, I would prefer smaller fish. Sardines, mackerel. They're closer to the source. They haven't had the time to accumulate those high levels of toxins. Smaller in size also. By choosing the smaller fish, I'm shortening the chain and reducing my exposure to chemistry. I want to just reduce my exposure to chemistry as much as possible. Yes, Rahul?
So there was this case in Japan as well, the Minamata disease. It was related to biomagnification and accumulation both at the same time. So mercury actually got accumulated in the fishes in their region, and humans, they started having negative effects because mercury is really poisonous.
See, the thing with Japan and Europe is at least this gets monitored. We get to know about it. But there's a beautiful country called India where we have no clue. Have you heard of something called as PFAS? I have a hunch a question will be asked from PFAS in prelims. If not in prelims, in mains. What is PFAS? Anyone heard of it? No one has heard of it? PFAS? And you tell me that you're preparing for UPSC? 4 people, 5 people. PFAS is much more sinister than microplastic, by the way. What's the full form of PFAS, Ananya?
Sir, I do not know the full form. However, I've seen PFAS uses in like the cups we get for coffee and in upholstery.
Is it my internet or can you all hear me? But we cannot hear Ananya right now. It's because your audio was lagging. Ronika, what's the full form of PFAS?
Sir, it's polyfluoroalkyl something substances.
Alkyl substance.
Okay.
Polyfluoroalkyl substance. Okay. In the scientific community, PFAS is known as forever chemical. Why forever? Because the bond between carbon and fluorine is one of the strongest in nature. Fluorine and carbon. They can ask you in many ways what kind of PFAS, forever chemical, carbon, fluorine, virtually unbreakable. When nature looks at PFAS molecule, it does not know how to dismantle it. Why do I say it's much more sinister than microplastic? At least microplastics are often visible symptoms of a plastic civilization. We can see them. PFAS, it is invisible chemistry of our civilization. You can see plastic bottle, you can see tire, you can see packaging, but you cannot see PFAS so easily. Could be in your water, could be in soil, fish, food, blood. We call it forever chemicals. Where do we find them? It's there in your non-stick Teflon pan, by the way. The UPSC asked this question many years ago. On non-stick Teflon pan. It's in the lining of your pizza box so that grease does not soak through it. It is there in your waterproof raincoat. Leaches into our drinking water. It's found in food packaging. Next time when you're ordering food from Zomato, just see how are you getting that food. Hot food in a plastic container. And then we're celebrating birthday. Why would you celebrate death? It cannot be degraded by the environment easily. Persists for decades. And once it enters an animal or human, it bioaccumulates. Sticks to our protein. Interfaces with our hormones. Stays in our blood for multiple years. Let me show you one very interesting news. You read through it. Tell me your thoughts. At least in Japan, Italy, France, they talk about this and they solve for it. But here we're not even talking about this. My dearest Subhash Chandra Bose, it's extremely important that people like you become part of services, Vaibhav.
Thank you, sir.
And no doubt about that you will perhaps join the services. But if for some reason result does not swing in your favor, you should know that you have at least won my heart.
So hi everyone, my name is Vaibhav Sharma. I am a member of the Indian Administrative Services of 2024 batch. My cadre is Assam Meghalaya. Right now segment is Meghalaya. I'm serving in a district called West Garo Hills.
He's one person who taught me more than I could ever teach him. And he continues to teach me these days. So huge round of applause for Vaibhav. So Vaibhav, to be honest, I have recorded every of your feedback already.
Use it, sir, use it. I would love your, institute to grow as much as possible. With you, what I found is that very complex topics very simply greased and slipped into one. So if we are studying economics and linking it with world history, so I think it makes the subject more enjoyable. Then the 2008 crisis, how the yield curve was not able to predict it, but we explained it well. So how, the first class has started with what is the drawbacks of economists. So I somehow connected it that it is the drawback of almost every social science. In sociology also, we explain the effects of caste system very well, but we are not able to predict. If the foundation is being laid in a good manner, in a humble manner, in a funny manner, in a logical manner, interlinkages are being done, I think that can help a lot of aspects. I had all the concepts. I never did any prelims question wrong in economics. And in mains also, I'm pretty confident that answers were very good. But I was never organically learned. So that the only part where I was lacking was talking to someone about economics. Because I don't feel it. These classes are fulfilling exactly the same deficit which I had in mind. And I would say that if someone wants to study economics, which is one of the toughest subjects, if this thing is being applied in economics, I'm sure that ethics would be a cakewalk. So sometimes, many times it happens that when we talk about bond yield, so we talk about the inverse relationship between yield and prices first discuss the questions and then present it in a way that there is a lot of brouhaha around it in our mind already. But the way you taught yield was the simplest ever explanation in my experience of UPS. When we take this decision to prepare for this exam, I'm sure we should be ready, because this exam is not one of the healthy exams. It's not like GMAT that it will occur multiple times in a year and it will take care of your mental health. It's our problem. So please at least know why you want to join civil service. I'm not waiting for a blue light car to stand in front of my house. I'm not saying that I'm great, but I'm not waiting for it. It doesn't matter. It may come, it may not come. Maybe tomorrow Sarkar removes any kind of car. Don't give me, I'll buy. I have enough salary now, 1 lakh rupees, it will come after basic salary, some other perks, benefits. Now I'll take a car on loan. So if that is someone else's attitude and still the person wants to do service, sir, then this is a very beautiful job. I'm not a very wise UPSC aspirant who qualifies in first or second attempt. I was in that zone where people were not very happy about me. Very rational people were saying that I'm part of demographic disaster. But sir, I knew for sure my aspiration is not wrong. It is not for a very mundane purpose. So that is why I kept going and God gave me a chance.
So huge round of applause for Vaibhav. And thank you so much, Vaibhav, for taking out time. So delighted to see you and wishing
I'm
you
still
all the
waiting
best.
for that party that you were throwing in Goa for all the selected candidates.
You wanted in Goa or somewhere else? Better places?
You said Goa. This is how you diffuse the topic. Goa it is. Let's have in Goa.
Done. Let's do it in Goa. All right. Take care, Vaibhav. And thank you so much for
Bye-bye.
doing this. And
Thank you, sir.
all the best.
Bye.
Reading this? Linked to hormonal disruption, immune suppression, cancers. Takes millennia to break down. Thoughts on this? Because there's something very interesting. When this poison was banned in Europe, in Italy, the next question is, where did it go? It comes to India. India is not unlucky. Today, India is being engineered into a disease economy. I'm little concerned, in time to come, who knows, we might become a new species. Do one thing, pick up Lay's or Pepsi or Coca-Cola, read ingredients in India, compare that with the one in UAE or in New York or elsewhere. Cheap people, given cheap things, and we die. Most of our money is spent in poverty and in that entire cycle. One biggest reason for our poverty is the healthcare expenditure. One crisis, we are done. Every Indian citizen should know what is happening in Ratnagiri. It was not even discussed in Parliament. We were discussing Vande Mataram. And when we create videos around this, bank freeze. Have you seen that very interesting mimicry of Modi ji laughing and hugging leaders? You've not seen that? You've missed the gold, Hemant. I mean, I was watching it on daily basis. Whenever you are sad, you watch that and you find peace. Modi ji worked around and figured out a way to ban that video. It's not available in India anymore from the original creator's account. We can use VPN. I'll show you if needed, Hemant. Don't worry. You can do that. Remind me after the class. We'll show it to you. Not right now. Every Indian citizen should know what is happening in Ratnagiri. A chemical factory in Italy was shut down, poisoned 4 lakh people, executives jailed. PFAS chemical leaked into groundwaters for decades, thousands of cancer deaths. Europe banned it. But the same PFAS production has now been shifted to India, to a company in Ratnagiri. We are not becoming cancer capital of the world by accident. We are not becoming diabetes capital of the world by accident. It is happening because we as Indians have become brain dead. Not even brainwashed, brain dead. WhatsApp forwarding zombies. PFAS, forever chemicals, banned across Europe. Scientifically, it's linked to kidney cancer, testicular cancers, thyroid, insulin resistance that we Indians are known for now, hormonal disruption, immune system damage. Do we even recognize them as forever chemicals in India? Officially, no, we don't. Today, the factories will discharge polluted water directly into streams. These streams will feed into a river. Rivers will feed our farms. These farms will feed us. Thoughts? Why is government doing this? And we don't even know about this. Read through the words of Vande Mataram, that song. Ankush?
Yeah, so just one thought came to my mind. Like, is this some kind of a planning of rich, like to eliminate the poverty, so eliminate the poor and like that? Like,
Privatization is going
maybe-
to happen in many ways. Water will be privatized at massive scale in India. And you will see Ambaniji and Adani entering that space. And why would our government also care? Who is running our government? Jai Shankar ji son lives in DC. Ajit Doval's son is a UK citizen. Piyush Goyal's sons live in New York City. Modi ji also hardly stays in India, only comes for elections. Our ambassadors are changing their citizenships. Public representatives have no stakes in the system. Land around Ratnagiri should be very cheap now. Forests will be cleared. Environmental clearance will be fast-tracked. Politicians, middlemen, contractors, they will all get rich. And most of their money is already in Panama and Dubai. This is why we need misfitters in the government. More of this tribe, because members of this community, they're not here to just clear one exam. For us, clearing this examination is a step to do better things in life. It's a means to achieve an end. Nature is very powerful. Humans create disasters. We created disaster by electing Modi ji. We create disasters by voting basis how much money is transferred just a few days before our elections. We create disasters. Today, legit people worship Adani for cutting 17 lakh trees in Hasdeo forests. We create disasters by allowing forever chemicals to pollute our rivers, our water, our aquatic life. Let me show you something very scary. This is a video that I think NDTV published yesterday. I mean, NDTV is again a government-owned channel. The video itself is not scary. The comment section is very scary. Tell me your thoughts on this.
Against the ecological balance of the city. We also have actress Dia Mirza and of course other protesters.
Celebrities, activists protest against mangrove felling for coastal road in Mumbai. What do you think about this headline? Will you support this? Will you be against this? If yes, then why? If no, then why not? What will be your arguments? Yes, Uryansh?
Yeah, even if you think like a cost benefit analysis in long term, I think having mangrove there on the coastal road will be much more efficient than the having a coastal road itself.
We all know our coastal road project who will get rich by that project. Anandita?
As you read that mangroves, they act as ecotone zone, which helps in prevention of floods. So it seems like all these protesters are here for a good cause. And also, Mumbai is susceptible to so many rains and repeated floodings year after year.
Every year
So
we are seeing floods in Mumbai. Every year. Financial capital is not livable. But there would be people who will justify this. How would they justify this? What will they say?
So they would always bring in the word development and say that economic development is important, and that
At
also
least back in
Mumbai
the
saw.
days, that's what they used to do. But not anymore. Because now we have created enemies within our own country. Words of like, Khan market gang, urban Naxal, it's very dangerous, this terminology. First, we have to fight external enemies. That's what they create. Then we have our internal enemies within our own country. Look at this. Whataboutism at its peak. When terrorist attacks will take place, where will these people be? Hypocrisy, whatnot. Diya Mirza's frustrated lady. Give them vada pav. They don't even have their economic argument now. Look at the number of likes on each comment. It's very scary now. That's why it's not a brainwashed civilization. It's turning into brain dead civilization. And that's why I'm saying that this species will evolve. It will be different in time to come. You compare these species with the ones who are learned, educated, not live amongst them. They will be different. Evolution will take place. Yes, Janani? Are you
Talking
seeing this
about,
already? The evolution?
yeah, I mean, I'm genuinely scared about the people who are commenting in YouTube videos of this kind. Uh, when I am tempted to read the comments, like especially for a lot of these videos, I'm genuinely scared, like where are we even heading to? What kind of society are we trying to build in? Especially now it's election time in Tamil Nadu, and there is just so much drama happening within Tamil Nadu politics. Every time I see the comment section, I'm genuinely scared with the people that we are becoming. And as you say, I see the evolution happening right just in the comment section. And I don't know where these people are even living. They have time to do these nonsense comment, but not genuinely contribute to the progressive society.
At least one of you gave this argument that perhaps economy development is important. Of course, it's a wrong argument, but still it's some sort of an argument. In the comment section, there was no such argument. Not even that. It was different. Quintessential whataboutism. Yes, Ruchir?
Sir, this brings my attention the cutting of mangroves for the coastal project. This brought I just got reminded by this one notification which the government of India or the Ministry of Environment brought out. So it was with regards to the Great Nicobar project. So what they planned was, so they estimated the number of trees which will be cut, the mangroves which will be cleared for that. And then there was this clause that there will be compensatory afforestation in Haryana. I mean, what, like in which world this make sense? It's like ages old, millions of years it took to create that ecology, that ecosystem which was there, and now you are going to compensate that by planting a little over 9 lakh trees in Haryana. Like there is no sense in that. And how is this not even you know brought to the attention of every single individual in this country? I'm really surprised by that.
There is no sense in many things there. We're defining, as humans, we're defining Aravallis and their height. What? Our third pillar or second pillar of democracy, judiciary. I've taken screenshots of that NCRT book, by the way. that judiciary has gotten up in arms about it. I'll show you. It's worthy reading. Let's read that first. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Humans, they create disasters. Nature solves it. There are microorganisms like bacteria, fungi. They look at the substance and they say, I can eat this. They break it down into simple, harmless things like CO2, water. But they can only do this for biodegradable entities. And as humans, now we're building non-biodegradable entities. People have gotten legit Nobel Prizes for it. That's the tragedy of plastic. It is not biodegradable. It photodegrades. Means sunlight breaks it into smaller and smaller microplastics. It doesn't go away. It just becomes invisible. Yes, Uryansh?
Yeah, actually, I've been thinking about this. Like after interacting with people from Japan, China, UK, France, all those, I think that people in India, and especially the people who is in a high position, they don't think so much rationally. They think more of emotionally, uh, like what is going to benefit them, or how they think, how they perceive things to be beneficial, and then taking into account what really is beneficial as per some good rationale and criticism also.
It's very insanely sad situation. There are foreign policies decided on Instagram. People are creating Instagram reels. Piyush Goyal creating Instagram reel. Why? So that he can get some votes in Bihar, in UP. And today, that's why, if you look from that one party's logic, people are confused. Who should we pray now? We began with Donald Trump. We have erected statues for Netanyahu also, I think, in some parts of India. It's never ending. Sometimes China, sometimes whosoever. We are confused. Who should we pray? Why do you have to pray? Think rationally, think logically. I really like talking to people when I talk. So it gives me a very good insight about India or any country. If you want to invest in any country, you talk to the lower rung. That's the majority in population. What do they think? And they will give you some remarkable insights into a way to invest money. In India, it's Baba economy. It's a thriving industry, thriving space. Sad, but that's true. Yes, Anjali?
Sir, I would like to just add one thing. Uh, while in the army, I was there in Manipur, basically in the northeast area. It was bang on the IMB, sir, Indo-Myanmar border. So I was there for 3 years in Manipur. Now, sir, when we talk about the individuals of you say mainland India, when we talk about all these for deforestation and everything, when we all know, well educated, we all know that how harm it is coming on to us. Inevitably, it is coming on to us only. But people there, sir, they want development, but not at the cost of the natural resources. When you fly over in a chopper across the Manipur and that border, sir, you will definitely see a lot of foliage. You will not see development. Don't those people need development? Yes, they do. But they are very staunch believer. They will sell those pineapples and the local produce sitting on the road, but they are not okay with cutting it down and then uh, in the garb of development. So I think that the society is one foundation which needs to understand this, sir.
Couple of points. Number one, they're not uneducated. If you look at the comments on YouTube, that video, they all have access to internet. They're all typing in English. It does not mean that they're not educated. They can construct sentences, they can read, write, they have decent well-being. Second thing is, what is development? How do you define development? Will Modi ji define definition for me? What's development? Logically think, what could be development for you? The answer lies in Vande Mataram. If you understand the meanings of the words of Vande Mataram. I need clean air, clean water, good food. harmony in society. Do you know what is biodegradation? What is the importance of using biodegradable things? Whatever we are studying, we'll solve a few questions also. So I continue to take notes. What is biodegradation? Substance can be broken down by living organisms. Bacteria, fungi, and many other microorganisms, they turn them into simpler, safer substances. That's the beauty of nature. If we look at our nature, it's not just producing, it's also recycling, it's cleaning, repairing. Microorganisms are there to act on it, decomposes it. Look at anything, look at dead plant, look at fruit peel, animal waste. It falls, dead body itself returns to the earth. It's nature's circular economy. Nothing is wasted, everything is regenerated and reintegrated. Biodegradable things are beautiful. And for all the Bose fellows, if you're going to be working in that space, we'll discuss that in the startup month. Cooperate with life. These things do not remain as permanent insult to ecosystem. Compare that with plastic. Plastic does not cooperate with nature at all. Non-biodegradable substances. They will not break down through biological processes. They will persist in the environment for a long period. If you think about the usage of plastic, think about this. A plastic spoon would be used for like 7 minutes, 5 minutes, a wrapper for 30 seconds, plastic bottle for 20 minutes. But planet will endure it for millions of years. What kind of civilization is this? Answer is, it's a civilization addicted to convenience. And convenience is not a good thing. If a substance is biodegradable, then the ecosystem has at least some chance of absorbing it, processing it, neutralizing it. But if it's non-biodegradable, it accumulates in landfills, rivers, sediments, animal bodies, food chains. And we know what happens when it enters food chain. First, bioaccumulation and then biomagnification. And that is why people with science background or medical doctors or anyone, many people will ask you this question, why the hell you're wasting one seat in the civil services? You should be a doctor. What should be your response to it? There are many idiots who will say this, you should be wasting seat. First you wasted MBBS seat and now you're wasting IAS seat. We need doctors in civil services. We need engineers in civil services. They all have a major role to play. It's not just ecosystem issue, it's a public health issue. If in the UPSC interview bhavan, when they give you water in plastic cup, and if they ask you why do you want to become an IAS officer, say such so that these cups are never offered again, even to my enemies. Or want to use my background in science to ensure better governance. I want to create policies that encourage biodegradable alternatives. Many countries are doing it. I can work on policies that may ban single-use plastics. Today, urban local bodies, they cannot even manage waste. They don't know how to segregate waste. Go to Goa. People are forced to burn the waste. Goa is part of Western Ghats, such an ecological hot zone. And you term all these people, who were protesting to save your own mangroves as liberals. as if it's an insult. Anyone heard of a term called bioremediation? So we've learned bioaccumulation, biomagnification. Let's talk about bioremediation. What is that? Shashi?
Yeah, bioremediation is when microorganisms eat all the pollutants. They try to degrade the pollutants that are present in the water.
It is beautiful. Just look at this video.
Our Earth faces many problems. One of these is how to deal with the dangerous chemicals we produce. But microbes can help us. Bioremediation is the process of using microorganisms to remove or degrade pollutants from the environment. Under the umbrella of bioremediation are different techniques. Confused? Here's an example. Let's look at oil spills. They're huge environmental disasters that we don't really have a viable solution for. They cause such damage to the environment because petroleum is a toxic mix of organic compounds, heavy metals, and hydrocarbons. Add to that rapid dispersal and the breakdown into even more damaging secondary chemicals, and you have a disaster that can cause serious acute and long-term effects. So how can microbes be used to prevent the damage caused? Well, certain microorganisms like Marinobacter are known to break down the harmful chemicals into safer, non-toxic compounds. If left to their own devices, the microbes in the environment would eventually break down the oil. It would just take a long time, as they generally only account for about 1% of the marine microbiome. Microbes are limited from growing into huge numbers by the availability of nutrients and other factors in their environment. The addition of, for example, fertilizer, which contains nitrogen, can remove these limitations, allowing the microbes to increase in numbers and speed up the breakdown. As well as oil spills, bioremediation techniques can be used to clean up acidic mining damage, soils contaminated by heavy metals, and plastic pollution. At the moment, bioremediation techniques are slow, but with more research, it is hoped that we can optimize the techniques and make bioremediation the quickest, most sustainable way to make our planet cleaner.
Thoughts on this? In fact, I like this TED talk that you should consider watching. I'll show it to you.
Bioremediation, biology to the rescue. It sounds like a snazzy idea, but it has been around ever since there has been life on Earth. If it weren't for bioremediation, we'd all be sitting on mountains of dinosaur poop. Right now, at this very minute, Mother Nature's little helpers are cleaning up after dead and decaying plants and animals and natural phenomena like volcanoes and fires and earthquakes. Without people, Earth is perfectly capable of healing itself over time. But the tipping point is we are overwhelming nature's capacity to bioremediate itself. If only we could put a continent or two aside for a millennium or two, then we would be just fine. That's not happening. In many cases, we have ruined the environment with good intentions. Let's take the example of DDT. Paul Hermann Mueller received the 1948 Nobel Prize in Medicine for DDT. This pesticide had a huge impact on public health by bringing down incidence of malaria and cholera globally. But just 15 years later, through a simple book, Silent Spring, Rachel Carson reported that indiscriminate spraying of supposedly beneficial chemicals was hurting the environment. DDT was poisoning the songbirds, and the spring season was silenced. Another example closer to home is MTBE, methyl, tertiary, butyl, ether. It was added as a fuel oxygenate to gasoline to mitigate air pollution. And indeed, it helped clean Los Angeles air quality, but ended up contaminating our water resources. Good intentions gone awry continue to occur today. I'm an engineer who has a lot of experience solving tough problems, but I'm also an inquisitive scientist who perpetually asks even tougher questions. What can we do to care for our environment sustainably? And that's where bioremediation comes in. We can help nature clean up nature faster, naturally. I've been using nature-inspired biotechnologies to clean up the environment for about 18 years now. You can say now I'm an adult in this business. Every time I would give a talk, speak with students, present a paper, I made a case for why we should remove toxic chemicals from the environment. I would talk about it in a very detached manner. Carcinogens, endocrine disruptors, toxicants, very academic terms. And it was all academic until it wasn't. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. Now it was personal. To me, it's more important than ever to research ways to protect our society and our children's future against the poisons we ourselves are putting in the environment. Now, I'm not saying that we should reverse the advances of modern technology, which has indeed improved the quality of our life, but we must move forward in harmony with nature. And to do that, we must begin at the smallest forms of life on our planet, microbes. We need to switch our thinking about microbes from ew to wow, because they're awesome. Every food web and every food chain on Earth begins with bacteria. They have crucial roles in producing food, decomposing waste, and performing many ecosystem services. Without them, we won't be able to eat, breathe, or live. They're invisible, but found everywhere on the planet. Even human bodies, healthy human bodies, have more
Yeah. So one reason why people don't perform really well when they even join the civil services because they just cram things. They never internalize what we are studying. You learn cram definitions, clear prelims, clear mains. But with MisFits, I don't want that alone. And there's a reason if you look at the mark sheets of, let's say, Daisy or Ananya, you will realize they could have gotten first rank, both of them. We have to prepare in a manner that no one can compete with us. What is bioremediation? The technology where we use living organisms, bacteria, for example, or plants, for example, to clean up polluted areas. In one of the videos, you saw an example of oil spill. We can use specific bacteria that eat the oil and turn it into something which is less toxic. Bioremediation. We're using the remedy of life, bio, to fix the environment. Use of life to clean up what human greed has polluted. It is when we use microorganisms, algae, fungi, and even plants to remove, to neutralize, to transform contaminants in soil, water, sediments into less harmful forms. It's like nature has its own sanitation workers, its own chemists, own waste management experts. But then there are some people sitting in ministries who destroy everything. Can we use genetic engineering to design microorganisms specifically for bioremediation? Can we do that? Yes, Soumya?
Yes, sir, we can do that through biotechnology, as was also mentioned in the TED talk we just saw.
Then why do people ask such a useless question that you have wasted one seat? Why should you now join civil services? You should have studied history alone in your undergrad. Yeah, we can do that. In labs, in some controlled field experiments, scientists have already done this. Let me show you a detailed paper. It's not just environment, it's governance that we want to be part of. And that's why we need to understand environment from that perspective, science from that perspective. When we do not do that, we not just fail the examination, but we also, our interest also crumbles in the subject.
So if we are studying economics and linking it with world history, so I think it makes the subject more enjoyable. If this thing is being applied in economics, I'm sure that ethics would be a cakewalk, or GS1 would be a cakewalk. If the foundation is being laid in a good manner, in a humble manner, in a funny manner, in a logical manner, interlinkages are being done, I think that can help a lot of aspects.
I think the subject-wise modules that we have and also the interrelations we make with each subject. I remember we started with history and then we linked that to geography and economy and polity going on. It gave me clarity of thought because if you read books on your own, it might be difficult to make a sense of it and you might not be able to link things as you would want to.
And I never thought I would read geography in that way or economy, linking with polity and history. It was so refreshing. And I think that actually opened up my perspective, world, everything. I never studied that way.
If Nirmala Sitharaman says anything, you need to know these things, that how this will affect you, how this will affect your country. And that I learned through my economics lecture that were going on.
I used to not able to connect the dots with current events. It was very hard tracking those things. I used to read everything in silos. So current events is one thing and code is one thing. But never able to connect them. Now I was able to see where I'm connecting what, like what is going on in the state, what is going on in the country, what is going on globally. So everything makes more sense.
Whenever I was not able to attend the live lecture, I used to see the recording and then I pause it and then I try to reply whatever I can say. So it helped me a lot to make conjectures and to come up with some beautiful thoughts. So it helped me a lot.
The way sir used to teach just made it more easy, way more easier as compared to reading the text and just cramming the facts.
These classes are fulfilling exactly the same deficit which I had in mind. I had all the concepts. I never did any prelims question wrong in economics.
I have a background in economics and the classes were nothing like that. In the sense, the education system we follow here and your methodology.
I also agree with your question answer method of retaining information because eventually that's what you need to replicate in the exam. You are very good at the craft of storytelling. Through your PSIR optionals, especially linking together those videos along with discussions around current topics, it gives a very broad understanding.
And I remember we started with Nassim Taleb and his impression of economists. That was also very profound because I always thought of economics as a very rational subject, and that's true, but not the way how we are taught here, conventionally.
In international relation, of course, sir, so much vivid thing that how deeply it can have effect on us. So, sir, it was a dynamic process.
I still remember in history when you linked bronze with the Harappan civilization and as an example of globalization. So that's something that ordinarily one would not link. You have a very beautiful way of putting things together.
It's okay, you will not be able to grasp the entire reading unless you've come from a background in research. It's a marvelous paper. Let me show you another article. This is much more, you can comprehend this one. Anthropogenic is what? What does it mean? Yes, Ankit?
Sir, like derived from human activity.
Yeah. Mercury enters in the food chain in the form of methyl mercury through biomagnification. What did we read in these articles? Scientists, they have engineered plants with certain bacterial genes that they can better transform toxic mercury compounds. Genetic engineering can become a phenomenal partner in environmental cleanup. But just because something is scientifically possible does not mean that it will magically be sufficient. Can bioremediation completely treat heavy metals like cadmium or lead? No, not completely. Heavy metal is not like oil, they're elements. We cannot degrade them into nothingness. It is an element. Cadmium is an element. Arsenic is an element. Mercury is an element. We can transform them. We can immobilize them. We can reduce their bioavailability. We can convert a more toxic version to less toxic version, but we cannot erase them from periodic table. We have periodic table these days in chemistry books. Are we taught periodic tables? Or has that changed? Because I graduated many, many years ago. Anyone? Do we have it? Yes, Ayappa?
Yes, sir, we have it.
We have it? Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
Let's look at some questions before we move to the next part. Now, all of you should be in position to answer these questions. And these are all UPSC questions. And these questions have been asked as late as 2025. This is what we solved yesterday, right? Yeah. Let's start with this. Yes, someone.
It is biomagnification.
Okay, this was easy. Let's look at this one. And I think it makes a lot of sense to combine science and environment. It will stick better with your brain. Yes, Chirani?
So I think it's option 4, 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, good. PFAS is important. They can ask again this year also. Let's look at this question. Free 2 marks. And so many 2 marks. Vaibhav?
First option is correct.
Which one?
First option.
Yeah. Right. Can you mute yourself? Let's look at this one. Aditya?
In the context of solving pollution problems, what is our advantages? Advantages of the bioremediation technique. It is a technique for cleaning up pollution by enhancing the same biodegradation process that occurs in nature. So this is true.
So when you figure out something is true, then go to the options and delete the things that, so delete some options. If this is true, then option 2 could not be right?
Yes.
Okay.
Any contaminant with heavy metals such as cadmium and lead can be readily and completely treated by bioremediation using microorganisms. So I don't think completely treated by bioremediation. So
option 4 is gone.
Yes.
So it's either 1 or 3.
Genetic engineering can be used to create microorganisms specifically designed for bioremediation. So this is true. So the answer is the third option, 1 and 3.
Good. Let's look at this question. Unmute yourself. Such easy questions are asked, come on. And still many people fill in the wrong things. Sonal? I can just see your head, not your face. Yeah.
It's first and second option is correct.
Third is wrong, okay. 1, 2, okay. All right, makes sense.
Yes.
Mute yourself. Let's look at this question. This is from last year, 2025, I think. No? In some other year, I don't know. Akshay?
Yes. Sir, it is a question regarding consider the followings. First is cigarette butts. The second is eyeglass lenses. Third is car tires. How many of them contain plastic? I think, sir, it is all of 3.
Yeah, that's right.
My heart is saying, I'm just emptying my heart here. I'm not being overconfident, sir. Sir, I feel that I'm definitely getting selected. My rank will be under 200.
So should we party already?
No.
Your party. We can do something about that.
No. I'm feeling that, and my rank will be under 200. And sir, I do not know why I am saying this. This may sound like flamboyant, but sir, I feel that I can be in top 20 also. I'm not thinking about the scenario where I do not get selected at all.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and that was my intention and my purpose. In fact, this was the guidance from you as well, that just be yourself and enjoy it.
My dearest Subhash Chandra Bose, it's extremely important that people like you become part of services, Vaibhav.
Thank you, sir.
And no doubt about that you will perhaps join the services. I'm very hopeful of that. But if for some reason result does not swing in your favor, you should know that you have at least won my heart. How much money have you made ever since the announcement?
300 rupees given by my Mossy.
I have recorded every of your feedback already in our classes.
Use it, sir. Use it. I would love your, institute to grow as much as possible.
I am very relieved. Just seeing the name there was good. I saw the rank and my parents were just right there, and I said that I'll get to work, I'll get to serve. And my parents started dancing. 1 minute later, I was like, rank to sun lo. And they were like, it doesn't matter.
So it's mixed feelings because I'm happy that I'm in the list. But I'm unhappy with the rank as well, so mixed emotions.
We also have a special guest. Daisy is India's youngest officer of 2024 batch.
Hi everyone, I'm Daisy. I graduated in 2024 actually, and I secured AIRs 422 in UPSC this year.
You will get a random case study, you will get a random thing. In essay, you will get a random essay. And that you have to write. And I will be able to analyze it and I will be try to answer it, not like I will surrender at the moment that, okay, I have not read, then I will not attempt. So in that way, Sir MisFitter has helped me at every process in mains, prelims or in the interview.
So I think history was my favorite because I felt very proud to be the part of the country.
Your guidance in the last 3 days worked in the interview as well. Very grateful for that. Last year when I gave it, I was not valuing myself well. This time I felt that I deserve to get 200. That's because of MisFits only.
Even chairperson sir, he got up and he started drinking water and taking round. I was thinking that you're trying to test me.
No, all of that will happen. I told you, right?
I will show you. I thought this is a very big day, but I am feeling very normal. You have stretched me a lot in a lot of our one-to-one session. I'm thankful that you made me so capable.
And I was like, no way, I'm getting into the list this time. Forget like getting a rank. Thank you so much, sir. I think you're giving me way too much credit.
I'm Ananya Sharma and I recently cleared the CDS examination and I got the All India rank 5.
I cleared PGPSC group 1 services and I secured rank 31 in this field. We are given posting according to zones. So in my zone, I'm 14th rank. So I might get posted as DSP.
Sir, I was driving. 2 of my friends called. I couldn't leave. Then I just called my mother and I rushed to home. I was not even thinking of giving this attempt. It turned out to be the attempt. So, and like the way you made my goal your goal, it is beyond words that I cannot express it.
I thank God and I thank my stars that I came across your YouTube videos and I got a chance to connect with you. So it was so comprehensive that after every session, it felt like, oh God, I've covered so much. After those sessions, I felt like nothing else I need to do.
Now let's come back to the video of Plankton that we started our class with. Okay, let's watch that video completely. Because the next phase depends upon this. The class is not over yet. There are some very important concepts I'll discuss now.
And those bright green specks inside their bodies are showing us what they're eating. It's not food.
And all those who have their hands raised, if there's some meaningful contribution to make, only then keep your hands raised.
Those are tiny pieces of plastic.
Yes, Roger?
Sir, I believe in the question it was written 50 millimeters, the size of the microplastics, and it was answered by the MisFitter as correct. But I think we discussed 5 millimeters as the size of microplastics, less than 5 millimeters.
Just check the core number today. Okay.
Yeah, sir, I just checked on the internet. It is 50 millimeters, and I also checked
if it's 50 millimeters and 50 millimeters.
No, sorry, 5 millimeters, and the answer is also given as 2 only rather than 1 and 2.
Good. 5 millimeters. Thank you for informing us. Please make a note.
We hear a lot about pollution from single-use plastic items, like plastic straws and shopping bags, that are clogging marine habitats. Although these large pieces of plastic contribute the most to the overall mass of plastic polluting oceans, they count for a small share of the total number of plastic particles. That's because most of the plastic pieces in the oceans don't look like this. They're tiny particles that look like this, and where they're coming from might surprise you.
Modern fibers, alone or in blends with natural fibers, brought new innovations in cool, crisp, comfortable clothes.
Back in the 1940s, fabrics like nylon, acrylic, and rayon, all made from plastic, became really popular. These synthetic clothes were cheap to produce, comfortable to wear, and as more people have bought clothes for athletics and leisure, companies have been making more clothes out of plastic. By 2010, over half of all the fabric in our clothing was made from synthetic fibers. In the meantime, marine scientists noticed that habitats were being polluted with tiny pieces of plastic called microplastics. These are objects smaller than...
It's good that we get to then drill this fact time and again. 5 millimeters, less than 5 millimeters.
5 millimeters, and can be anything from tiny shards, broken off larger items, to microbeads developed for use in cosmetic products.
Can't believe such questions are asked in UPSC. Just from out of a video.
Microplastics are found in marine habitats everywhere on Earth. Concentrations of microplastics have been found on coastal beaches in South Africa, the Great Lakes of North America, rivers in Britain, and at the bottom of an oceanic trench near Russia. Turns out, a large share of those microplastics are microfibers, tiny strands of plastic, and they're coming from our laundry. Looking at this fleece jacket up close, you can see that its fuzzy material is actually a fabric made from tiny strands of plastic woven together. When we wash a synthetic piece of clothing like this fleece, the fabric is pulled loose and tiny microfibers fall out. Scientists actually tested 3 types of synthetic clothing to see which type shed the most using a washing machine fitted with a special filter. They determined that acrylic shed the most microfibers, over 700,000 on the first wash alone. And even though fiber loss goes down after the first wash, the sheer number of people doing laundry adds up, making microfibers a huge contributor to the nearly 5 trillion pieces of microplastics that are floating around the world's oceans. In most dryers, there's a mesh screen to catch lint, but washing machines typically don't have a filter. So everything that falls off our clothes is flushed down the drain. And from there, microfibers might move through a sewage treatment plant, but the filters are often too large to stop them from passing through and flowing to a discharge point at a nearby marine habitat. Once they reach the ocean, microfibers are consumed by plankton and other filter feeders that eat debris falling to the sea floor. And then the plastic starts making its way up the food chain, passed on by predators feeding on organisms that have ingested microfibers. Eventually, it reaches us. Plastic enters human bodies when we eat seafood containing microfibers, like these, which scientists found in a piece of fish they bought at a seafood market.
Now I have a question for all of you. Does it make sense to now turn and become vegetarian? I'm not vegetarian, and I won't be. Yes, Priyal?
But there's even if we turn vegetarian, there are like elements like mercury that can, pass through the blood-brain barrier, and that can again, that is again a pollutant. So I don't think, how does it make sense to just be vegetarian and pass this whole scenario?
Okay, makes sense. I mean, logical point. Anyone else? Venkatesh?
Vegetarian food cooked in PFAS.
Speak louder.
Vegetarian food cooked in PFAS products, packaged veg food, also dangerous.
I didn't understand. Did anyone understand what he's saying? What is he saying, Channi? Some problem with my audio, I think.
He's telling that even vegetarian food is getting cooked in PFAS coated stuff. And
Got it,
we have,
got it. Yeah.
I
So now anyone who says that, we should turn into vegetarians. If you look from this perspective of biomagnification, bioaccumulation, it makes a lot of sense to become vegetarian. What if you were asked this question in UPSC interview? Of course, they will not go into it. Who knows? Prime Minister talks about what we eat. Who knows? How did you get so good? You speak really well. I'm so impressed, Ananya. And I'm sure, tomorrow they will ask you random questions from your DAF and you will be able to handle it.
So hopefully this will get us past that 200 mark both you and I want to reach.
You're like 24, right?
Yes.
I've never met anyone who is so talented at such a young age. So good.
Thank you. And MisFits actually had a great role to play in it. I actually remember the exact moment when I saw your YouTube video. So this was after I had written the first prelims and I knew I was not prepared for it. And then I saw this and I thought I'd get a good ecosystem. There you learn a lot about yourself also, because I always thought of myself as an introvert, but it was a revelation for me that I realized I'm not an introvert. I believe it helps you come out of your shell. I always enjoy watching your lectures and you are very good at the craft of storytelling. I still remember in history when you linked bronze with the Harappan civilization and as an example of globalization. So that's something that ordinarily one would not link. Through your PSIR optionals and especially linking together those videos along with discussions around current topics. I remember it was the 2024 general elections going on. So it made it really easy to link what's happening on ground with the theory in books. I remember it was, I think, the 4th or 5th episode where you said that the study of polity is basically how India has survived as a democracy so far. You have a very beautiful way of putting things together. I also agree with your question-answer method of retaining information, because eventually that's what you need to replicate in the exam. And also the interrelations we make with each subject. I remember we started with history, we linked that to geography and economy and polity going on. It gave me clarity of thought, because if you read books on your own, it might be difficult to make a sense of it and you might not be able to link things as you would want to. It gives a very broad understanding. You are able to look at the world with a new idea. Whenever I came to a class, I knew that I was learning something new. And you always left us hungry for more. And in terms of economy, because I have a background in economics and the classes were nothing like that. In the sense, the education system we follow here and your methodology. And I remember we started with Nassim Taleb and his impression of economists. So that was also very profound, because I always thought of economics as a very rational subject, and that's true, but not the way how we are taught here. So why should you be a part of MisFits? Because so basically, for me, my college life was good, but I think because of COVID, I missed that peer-to-peer interaction. And in this competitive ecosystem, you need to collaborate. You can't thrive alone. So I think MisFits provides you that. And it's really engaging when you're in an interactive system and your peers are asking questions. You are in the Zoom breakout rooms. You are interacting with others, sharing your perspectives. So it makes you feel as if you're part of something bigger and you're not just alone in this rat race.
Ankit?
Yes, sir. For that, the argument here that if we want to become, if we should become a vegetarian or not, the logic here is that why do you need to be vegetarian? And the scenario here for that food is less contaminated, vegetarian food is less contaminated is false argument. And there are other reasons for which a person should be vegetarian. That I think those reasons are more ethical and moral.
Okay, but from biomagnification perspective, no. And ethics, morality, it keeps on changing. That's the thing about ethics. See, one thing I cannot deny is that there is biomagnification. It is real. Top predators, they carry higher burdens of certain toxins. Methyl mercury was mentioned, I think, in that research paper. So logically speaking, we have to ensure that we're eating food lower on the food chain. But the world that we live in is very complicated. Because what Priyal mentioned also makes a lot of sense. Vegetarian plate is not served from heaven. Comes from soil, comes from water, comes from air, markets, packaging, pesticides, entire storage system, entire supply chain. At each lever, we have an issue. Major issue. If those networks of the chain, if they are polluted, food will also be polluted. Doesn't matter if it's vegetarian, non-vegetarian. Biomagnification is only one pathway of toxic exposure. It's not the whole story. There are many, many other pathways. Pesticides being used on crops, heavy metals found in soil, contaminated irrigation, how you are storing grains, how you're packaging it, how you are processing it. If your soil contains cadmium, arsenic, lead, if your soil contains industrial residues, what happens to plants? If pesticide is sprayed excessively, if your nuts and grains, if they are stored badly, what will happen? Fungi may grow. It may produce something called as aflatoxins. What are aflatoxins? Let me show you a video. This man tells us what we should eat. He's very healthy for his age. Let's look at this very interesting shot.
Good afternoon. Lunch, chapati, meat, potato fry, and some ladies' fingers, phosphorus for brain. So this is pistachio, pista, nuts. This comes from cashew family and grows in Afghanistan, Central Asia and Iran. It's an excellent source of fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals, and particularly it has got fat saturated, polysaturated and monosaturated, good fats. Moreover, it has to be properly cultivated. When you buy, don't buy salted. This is not salted, don't buy salted. And it has to be properly cultivated. If it has got aflatoxin, it can give you cancer. Bye-bye.
Shit. Pistachios can give us cancer if it has aflatoxins. It's so expensive. But how and why? Any doctor in the community who can explain why is that the case? Ankit, you're a doctor also? No? Okay, tell me.
Sir, fungi and bacteria have this resistant property. So when they break down any food, they release these aflatoxins. Like plants also have phytates. Okay, but when we cook them, they get degraded, but aflatoxins don't. And even after cooking, it affects our health.
Anyone who is a fan of peanut butter? You like peanut butter, Subhash? What do you like about it?
Usually I eat peanut butter in my breakfast along with the oats, so it's healthier.
Okay, let's watch one video.
Biggest concerns with peanut butter is aflatoxins, toxic compounds produced by Aspergillus fungi, which thrive in warm, humid conditions where peanuts are grown and stored. Aflatoxins are known carcinogens, and long-term exposure has been linked to liver cancer, immune suppression, and developmental issues in children. A 2019 study published in Food Control found detectable levels of aflatoxins in a significant portion of commercial peanut butters tested worldwide.
What is this? No pistachios, no peanut butter. What will we eat then? Let's look at this video. And this is very interesting. Indonesia is banning Indian groundnut. Back in the days, it was supposed to be Europe and US. They used to ban stuff. No, Indonesia is doing this.
Indonesia has suspended groundnut imports from India, and the reason is something called aflatoxin contamination. Aflatoxins are toxic chemicals produced by fungi like Aspergillus
Yes, remember and learn these names. Who knows, they may ask you. Aspergillus
flavus and Aspergillus parasiticus. They thrive in hot and humid climates and often contaminate groundnut,
What kind of climate could be a part of your options?
maize, rice, spices, and even milk. Aflatoxin B1 is the most toxic. It's a strong liver carcinogen. Even after cooking or processing, aflatoxins remain heat stable. They are invisible.
So even after cooking, it remains stable. Interesting.
Threats, you cannot detect them by sight, smell, or taste. Only lab tests can confirm contamination. The health risks are serious. They can cause liver cancer, weaken the immunity, and even stunt growth in children. In severe cases, aflatoxins cause acute poisoning called aflatoxicosis. This is also a big issue for global trade. Many countries have strict limits on aflatoxin. For example, the EU allows no more than 4 micrograms per kg in peanuts. Because of this, shipments with higher levels are rejected, causing huge losses for farmers and exporters. Indonesia alone buys nearly 1/3 of India's groundnut exports, but it has now blocked shipments, claiming Indian consignments had high aflatoxin levels. Exporters, however, argue that Indonesia reported contamination 3 months after the peanuts had landed and that its testing methods do not match the WTO standards. Meanwhile, India's new groundnut crop is about to arrive, with Gujarat expecting a record harvest. But prices are already ruling below the government's minimum support price. If exports remain suspended, farmers, exporters, and India's entire agri-business sector could face serious setbacks.
Thoughts on this? Aflatoxins. I also like peanuts. Eat that on a daily basis. Let's look at one more video. By the way, when I was searching for aflatoxin videos, I was just stumbling upon videos either from African countries or India. Even the animation here is from Africa.
Is aflatoxin. Aflatoxin is a poison produced by a fungus called Aspergillus flavus. The fungus resides in soil and decaying matter on the ground and attacks many crops while in the field or in storage and contaminates them with aflatoxin. Aflatoxin is a severe threat to human health. Eating foods contaminated with aflatoxins above the allowable limits for many years can cause liver cancer and lower the body's immunity. Consuming food with extremely high levels of the toxin can lead to instant death. Even mothers can transmit aflatoxin to their children through breastfeeding, and in children, aflatoxin can lead to growth impairment manifested as underweight, malnutrition, and stunting. These effects are irreversible and remain for life. The economic consequences can be severe too. Crops confirmed to be contaminated cannot be consumed, sold, or exported and have to be destroyed. Livestock that consume contaminated feed will reduce production. Poultry, for example, will produce less eggs and cows less milk. How can we detect aflatoxin? Unfortunately, aflatoxin has no color, flavor, or smell. It can only be detected through testing in a laboratory. That is why it's easy to unknowingly consume contaminated food. How can we reduce aflatoxin contamination? Eating a healthy and diversified diet is one way to reduce consumption of contaminated food. It is also very good for our health in general. We should not eat too much and too often foods prone to contamination such as ugali or porridge from maize and groundnut. We should include other starches such as potatoes, rice, pumpkins, and bananas, which are less prone to aflatoxin contamination. In our meals, we should also include proteins, fruits, and vegetables. However, we need to address the source of the problem in the soil, in the farm.
Protein also, you need to ensure that it's from the lower trophic levels.
Farmers should follow good agricultural practices to reduce contamination and keep the crops safe. These include using good and certified seed, keeping the fields clean of weeds, harvesting the crops when well dried, sorting the crops to remove immature pods or cobs damaged by birds or rodents before drying and storage, preventing grains from contact with the soil by drying crops on raised platforms or on mats, storing all crops in a cool and dry place, safe from rain and free from insects and pests. Scientists have found a natural solution for aflatoxin. They have developed a product that can reduce the toxins by up to 99%. It is called AflaSafe. AflaSafe is made up of a fungus similar to that which produces aflatoxins, but itself does not produce the poison. Instead, when it is applied in the soils, it pushes away the toxin-producing fungus. AflaSafe is made of this fungus coated on roasted sorghum. AflaSafe is totally safe, natural, and efficient. It is easy to use. Broadcast 10 kilograms.
Thoughts? Becoming part of MisFits is also good for your health, not just for exams. Snesh?
I just feel that how has it become increasingly difficult to source healthy food for us? And the only solution I feel is that to have your own organic farm.
That's what rich people are doing now.
That's-
All the Bezos and the Gates, they are growing their own food. Zuckerberg does that. Peter Thiel does that. Ambani's, Adani's, perhaps, doing the same. Adani and Ambani, I don't know. They're not very fitness. They don't, at least at the outset, it doesn't look like that they care about fitness. Neither Ambani is caring about it. She has that golden water bottle. So grains and nuts are stored badly. Fungi may grow and may produce aflatoxins. So aflatoxins, what are these? They are poisonous chemicals produced by certain fungi. Learn the names of those fungi. Aspergillus, I think, that's the name. And where do these fungi grow? They grow on improperly stored food commodities. Could be groundnuts, maize, corn, rice, wheat, dry fruits, animal feed. But the tragedy was that when he said that the food may look normal, it may smell normal, it may taste normal, but this chemistry that's dangerous for us. They're linked to liver damage. Chronic exposure can even lead to liver cancer. See how beautifully nature and governance is connected. Some may say aflatoxin is just a biology issue. It's not just that. It's also a storage issue, logistics issue. Storage and logistics is governance issue. It's also a poverty issue. What's the reason why I'm just finding Indian and African countries talking about this? Because European Union has some standards. When grains are stored in humid conditions, when your warehouses, when they are poorly ventilated, when the transport is careless, when the food regulation is weak, when monitoring is absent, what do you think will happen? Aflatoxins will arrive. So if someone says that public administration has nothing to do with health, they do not understand either public administration or health. So let's come back to our original question. Should we become vegetarians? Yes, Sudiksha?
I am a vegetarian myself, but I have an example in my mind about cows grazing
the grass. I saw it myself. There's a lot of covers and plastics on the ground, which cows feed on. It again impacts on milk and everything. I know people will give an argument about being vegan, but I think there are a lot of other food which can cause this biomagnification, and I don't think vegetarian is the only solution to this problem.
Yeah, we need a clean nature around us. That's the only solution. Compare the cows in India versus compare the cows in Japan. We may pray, but that doesn't look like praying, how we treat them. But there's certain things that we can do that's easy also. We need to avoid food that are higher up in the food chain. Biomagnification is real. Why expose yourself to those toxins? Avoid eating predators. Not good. Shark. People eat shark. Swordfish. Tuna, I think. Avoid large marine fish if you eat fish. Vegetarian food grown in pesticide heavy systems. Avoid. We need to figure out a solution around that. Storage has to be an issue. Okay. Problem is not just what we eat. Problem is what we are doing to our soil, to our water, to our river, to our oceans, to our food systems. Food systems. Systems. That's an important term. We are too much obsessed about what other person is eating. That focus should shift towards our Vande Mataram. Air, water, food. Let's look at a couple of questions. Yeah, here are the questions. Let's see if you can answer this. Yes, Sonal?
Sir, it's first Aspergillus.
Okay, good. Let's look at the second question. And you can mute yourself. Devesh?
So it's option 3, molds.
Yeah. Good. All of you raise your hands. With this, we wrap up today's session. I hope it was interesting for all of you. And there's a reason I have to not follow that standard approach of teaching you environment because it's not good for your health and not good for your UPSC preparation. It will get boring if you were to just go with that standard definition and standard way of reading. And you won't even become good civil servants. But just hold on to this. The way we will study both the subjects, you will gain a lot of confidence in time to come. You will perform really well. Okay. Any questions, thoughts, anyone? On how is it going? Yes, Ankit?
Sir, one point I have noted in my note that wherever the toxin grown, that means somewhere governance fail. We have seen in both the option. For the vegetarian food, the governance failure, the toxin increases, and for the biomagnification also, the regulation fails, and we can see those biomagnification.
And it's not. And the funny thing, it's not just food.
Yeah, everywhere.
Toxicity grows in your culture. How many of you have seen Dhurandhar 2? How's it? People?
No, sir, I haven't seen. Actually, I haven't seen the first part. So,
Okay. Yeah, so your thoughts, opinions, reflections on today's class?
sir, actually, I have a question regarding my preparation. Should I ask?
Yeah, ask.
Sir, actually, I'm observing few things that while I solving the previous year questions, actually, I'm doing fine in well in economics, geography also, but in factual parts of geography and little bit of biology, I'm lacking. So,
Okay.
yes, of course.
See, in biology, so we will cover all those things. It's not done yet. And if you're lacking in factual questions, then that's good. Because factual things you can always learn and cram and revise. Okay, so the solution remains the same. Get your foundation sorted. Once that is done, do not get beaten by the fact that I got this wrong. Goal is not to get an answer correct or wrong. The goal is to spend 5 to 10 minutes per question, see what went right, see what went wrong, even if you got the answer right, make notes, and eventually after 3,500 questions, you will revise those notes multiple times. That's the goal. And as long as you're making mistakes, that's good. That means you're learning everything new.
Whatever you have said always, the way you motivated and the way you made my goal your goal, it is beyond words that I cannot express it.
Srishti comes from my home city, from Gwalior. So first and foremost, a huge round of applause for Srishti for getting 160 rank. This is amazing. Very, very proud of you. I've seen you crumble, insecure, and when I see you finally achieving this remarkable goal and with a good rank, it just makes my day.
I'm really grateful to you. I was not even thinking of giving this attempt. It turned out to be the attempt. So
during this journey, there are multiple moments of self-doubt. Whenever we are not able to clear the examination, we do question that how to proceed further. Should we give a next attempt, or even what we will do in the life, or what if not UPSC? And that moments of self-doubt sometimes breaks you. But I would say that having self-belief, having confidence in yourself, and having right people around you, it becomes very important. So fortunately, I had Naman sir, I had my parents, family and friends who motivated me. They pushed me that I can do that, and sir was one of them, and I'm really grateful for him for that.
You and MisFits have played a very big role in my journey, from motivating me to showing me the right process, and that has been truly transformative for me to building the right mindset that is required. And I'm really grateful to you and the entire team. The advice to the future aspirants, I would say that
this preparation is not only about learning or collecting the resources, but you have to cultivate the right mindset.
Be honest with what you are doing.
You are not just sitting for studying, that you are calculating the number of hours, but how honestly and efficiently you are working during those hours.
We all make plans, we all prepare strategies, we take tests, but it is important that we are doing it with the right mindset, matching with the demand of the examination.
Across these stages, whether it is prelims, mains or interview, you have to think like an administrator. You have to build a right strategy and follow it consistently and develop that thinking. So whether it is prelims fit testing, that how you are performing in those 2 hours, how you are tackling that pressure, or whether it is mates, that you are interpreting the question right, it becomes very important that you are thinking rightly. And I think Naman sir helps in that a lot across the stages.
And gratitude for you is beyond words, which I cannot express.
That's amazing. And how has the day been so far? Tell me everything from the reactions of your parents and.
When the result came, I was actually traveling and my phone started ringing. So it was my friend who told me, and I was not believing in that. I called up my mother and my father.
I couldn't see her reaction, but when I reached home, she was crying. She was all tears.
And it was truly a moment like I was waiting for years.
Like today's my Chacha's birthday, so he's very happy, and like my Dadaji, everybody was crying.
And I felt that finally I have made my parents proud. I am worth their efforts, the worth efforts of my friends, my mentors who have put so much in me. They have believed in me.
Started think of calls and everybody started visiting,
and then finally all things started happening, like
media came, so lots of media, so it gave a lot of interviews today,
and then the felicitations.
I hope that I justified your time, and I hope you are happy.
Of course, and I mean, I have told you this in the past, it's a means to achieve an end. And the way I have seen you, even if you are not to get into civil services, you have always justified, more than justified my time. So I'm truly honored that I got a chance to work with you. And congratulations to your parents. I know it's been a long journey for them also. All the best. And thank you so much for taking out time. Okay.
No, sir, it's always on me. Thank you so much for giving your time.
So don't get beaten by that fact. Yes, Ronika?
Sir, I just wanted to say a small thing that while budgeting the groceries of the house, I've realized the budget has increased very much because of something that I've considered of not buying anything that is not organic. So we call it the toxin tax. We are paying extra for it because we don't want any kind of fertilizer or any kind of exposure in our lives.
Yeah, that's good. Cheap people they pay twice and thrice. So in different ways. So eat well. That's my advice. Invest well. Invest in education. Invest in good communities. Because you will see returns in future. Snesh?
I had one question that, so you told me, you told us that our storage or
What does
logistics or
Sochintan
transportation
mean?
has. Suchitan, अच्छा
Suchitan.
सोचने वाला. Go, a person who
You should
thinks
have
good.
this as your name, Suchitan Murthy. Then this would have been very interesting. Okay, Snesh, go on.
So how do you handle storage, logistics, transportation in such a large country with a huge population? Because Europe has small population and that too, small countries. And even if we consider US, that is 1/4 of our population. So how?
You see, the thing is, I am really sick and tired of this argument about the excuses that we have. India has huge population, that's why we can't do X, Y, Z stuff, but China can do it. India has what? India has democracy, that's why we cannot do X, Y, Z things. But Estonia could do it. So I think the problem is, and this problem is much more linked to economy. So hopefully I would have covered this, or if not, then we'll cover this in Azad Parliament sessions. But we need to think beyond excuses. Population should not be an excuse now. In fact, our Modi ji goes abroad and says that India has 3 things going well. That's why you should invest. And he talks about demography, young population. They also become the consumer base. So we can use any of these arguments into our strength and weakness also. When things do not go in our favor, we term this as weaknesses. But when we want investors, then that becomes our strength. It's not about population. It's about, is our population brain dead or not? Or what are we doing to revitalize their brain cells? We have this magical habit. I think US allowed India to buy petrol or oil or whatever resources from Russia for 30 days. We were spinning it around in a manner that Russia was allowed to sell it to India for 30 days. We saw that, no? News media outlets doing that. That US allowed Russia to sell it to India. Many of our tankers are kept currently in Strait of Hormuz. For every such thing to pass through, we have to schedule calls with the Iranian team, and still we're not able to ensure the security of those tankers. But the two ships came in, and we were gloating over it in a manner that peak diplomacy. So don't go by this popular narrative that we have certain problems, that's why we can't solve it. There are many solutions to it. And we'll talk about it in detail. Can't wrap it up in 5 minutes. Anyone else? Any thoughts, opinions on the class? And how is the preparation coming along ever since we started this series? Ankush?
Yeah, so first thing about this current question you asked. So yeah, the preparation is going well, and I couldn't even imagine how well I am able to understand things now. First thing. Second thing, yesterday someone asked about
Why couldn't you
history
imagine?
thing. Actually, I haven't seen such great methods and all around, yeah, from long time.
Okay.
So maybe in the school and in the college, I haven't seen people making effort in a understandable way. Or
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. And about the history, people in the comment, means like some of are having a concern that how interestingly they can learn history. So I could able to connect two things. When you say that you don't come up with any pre-reads in the history lectures, so that benefits in a way that when you come completely blank, so as a story way, this helps in retaining. We won't be able to see it then and there, but in the long run, that stays. And second thing, with the post reads, we can, with any of our family members or with any of our cousin or anyone, we can share the post reads that this is what happened. Buddha left his home, Siddhartha, at this age. Then for 7 years he did like that. So in a story manner, it become interesting. And now I feel like it's very interesting. It's like the history is becoming very interesting as I'm going along with the episodes.
History is
So
phenomenal. I mean, the way
that's
we have covered it, it's beautiful. The way we have connected it to economics, to politics. So it's going to be very
yeah,
fascinating for you as you go through
yes,
it.
yes, yes. Yeah. And sir, just one last thing. You said you will show us that Narendra Modi video in the end.
Oh, you've not seen that video? Let me just use the VPN. So I should not record this class then. I should stop recording now. I have something to add before we show you the video. Yes, Ananya?
Yes, sir. Just one more thing, like snapshots from the NCRT books, if you can share. I'm just curious.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll share that tomorrow. And not just the snapshot from NCRT books, but also the notification shared by the Supreme Court on it.
Yeah.
I'll share both the things. It's very shameful. You all should see all that. But yeah, let's watch that video. And after this, we'll go about this part. Thoughts? It's a very smart move from his end to ban this video. No, I think those who will see the recording will feel very bad that I didn't show them the video. Just stop the recording only.